Rush Caress of Steel is 1975 release from Mercury Records, and it's through Anthem Entertainment, which I believe Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson own. All songs are written by Lee, Lifeson, and Pert, and that's a first. And this is the third Rush album, going from the very beginning of time. So this 1975 is the third one, and it's the second one for Neil Peart as a member, and he's essentially writing all the lyrics here, although um, hard to tell by looking at the CD cover or the album. I'm just going off of their history. This is produced by Rush and Terry Brown. The CD doesn't say that, but the internet does, and I get that from Genius or Wikipedia, generally. This is the coolest Rush album yet because it has a happy party songs from Rush that you're used to from Rush, the debut album, and Fly By Night, but also two kick-ass prog rock tracks at the end. And I neglected to mention this in the Fly By Night video, but the production improved with Terry Brown as co-producer, and so he's a good addition to the team, rather than just being produced by Geddy and Alex. The mix, the music is mixed the same, but it sounds so much more crisper than the previous two albums, and even this one is an improvement over Fly By Night, but definitely remarkably different. And I'm not referring to this is the remaster version. Although the remaster adds a lot of pop to the music. What I mean is that when an independent producer like Terry Brown gets in, you get better takes and recordings out of the band. And I think that's just having that additional ear and voice to give feedback. The mix is still pretty even, with Geddy singing on top of the music, and at other times the drums, bass, or lead guitar is highlighted, but for the most part the mix is pretty even with the vocals on top. Okay, and so that's how this album sounds. Caress of Steel, I don't know what the title means. There isn't a song on here called Caress of Steel, and I was searching for it in the lyrics, but maybe it's a lyric, but I couldn't find it in one of the songs. I don't know. Leave a comment if you know what it means. I don't know what it means. The album cover has this greenish, sort of bluish background. The font color is gold, and the picture is a person wearing a robe standing next to a snake. There's like a snake. It's right here. There's the snake, if you can see that. Okay. And the guy looks kind of like Emperor Palpatine. Can you see that? With the hair, with the crazy hair. And it looks like he's standing on a cliff next to a rock. I don't know what any of this means. I don't think this is a concept album, but it's definitely a story being told. Maybe there's a subtle concept there. I'll talk about that at the end. Yeah, and last thing before we get into the songs. In the sleeve, I don't know how anybody can read the lyrics in here. Even with reading glasses on or a magnifying glass, I cannot. Maybe, I don't know. I guess this is the remasters, and maybe they wanted it to look just like you're opening a cardboard album. That's probably what it is, but I can't tell. I can't read any of that. If I want to look at the lyrics, I got to go to Genius or I got to Google it. And then because this is a remaster, you've got the cool, the Rush guy with the pentagram from 2112. And that's because it's a stage one. Well, you guys know all that. All right, let's get into the album. It's 45 minutes in length. And 32 minutes of those 45 minutes of the album are the two prog epics at the end. The Necromancer is it's a complex song, and I'll talk about what that means, about Bytor the Snow Dog, and Bytor the Snow Dog and the Necromancer, who's a wraith, or Sauron from Lord of the Rings. It's kind of a funny story. And then the Fountain of Lamneth is the last song, a song about a man's life. The other three songs sound like they could be on Fly By Night or even Rush. the self-titled debut album. Those three have like that rock and roll feel to it. And one last note: none of the songs on this album I ever heard on the radio growing up. None of them on WAPL or any classic rock stations in Wisconsin, at least as far as I can remember. Maybe I'm wrong, but let's get into it. The first track is Bastille Days, or Bastille Day, at 4 minutes and 37 seconds. This is one of those. These first three tracks are like what you'd expect from the first two albums. So at 4 minutes 37 seconds, it's got a verse, chorus, bridge, and then after the bridge, a guitar solo, and then a verse and a chorus, and then the song's over. So very simple song structure that you would expect, sort of like the Beatles or Kiss or something like that. So simple song structure, and the band sounds less like Zepp or classic rock, but it still has that first album, second album feel to it. It just sounds more unique, like it's Rush. You're listening to Rush now. Bastille Day is a holiday that French descendants celebrate in the summertime, sometime in July. I can remember being in Milwaukee during Bastille Day, or Bastille Days as they called it. And they had a parade and parties going on in the French Quarter. And this is a good track. Awesome opening riff by Alex Lifeson. It's a 4/4 time, and I'm not too much of a musicologist, but I can count. It's got a fast tempo, and it goes 8 bars at a time. Everything is 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, or 8 bars and repeat. So the verse is 8 bars, the chorus is 8 bars, and the bridge is 8 bars, right into the very end of the song. And it's a cool, upbeat, happy, it's a good song. Maybe happy's not the right word, but it's not one of those dragging doom songs. It's not like you're listening to Alice in Chains or something. Okay, the second track is I Think I'm Going Bald. 3 minutes and 38 seconds. And this is another one, verse, chorus, chorus, guitar solo, and then verse, chorus, another guitar solo. So another simple song structure, although different from the first song. So I do like that they change it up a little bit. Two important things going on here. First thing, 8 Foot Guy he's my all-time Rush friend. He's the Rush expert master that I know. He's got the knowledge base. And he told me that Rush wrote this song in homage to Kiss because they were touring with Kiss back in the day. And so it does sound like a Kiss song. It could be a Kiss song, but it's obviously not Gene. It doesn't sound like Gene or Paul Stanley singing, or even Ace. 8 Foot Guy mentions Blind by Kiss. That's sort of what they're going after here. And Blind is kind of a funny song. I mean, this is kind of a funny song too. Okay, and it's got this really rock and roll guitar line that Alex is playing. The second thing is, this is like my theme song. I've been shaving my head since Mother's Day 2001. Now you can imagine that's I've been bald for a long time, most of my life. So it's fitting. But I like the song, and the chorus he's singing, "My life is slipping away, I'm aging every day, but even when I'm gray, I'll still be gray my way." Well, this song is about getting old. So Neil's really good about putting his ideas into these songs. And it's sort of fitting with the other songs on the album, although not so much the fourth track. But okay, Lakeside Park is 4 minutes and 7 seconds. That's the third track, and it's not broken up. It's a regular simple song for them. Verse, chorus, verse, guitar solo, chorus. The simplest of all songs, actually. Rush was playing this during their R40 tour. I saw the set list. and they're playing it at the end. And this song is like it goes 16 bars at a time, so just like you can count it. It's in 4/4 time, and I guess it depends on how you count it, but that's how I counted it, was 16 bars. I like Neil Peart's drum fills in this song, and the bass drums seem to be louder in the mix in this song than the other songs, so that's kind of unique about it. There's nothing too deep or fancy about these lyrics. Neil's just writing about a park he used to go to when he was 14 or 15 years old. Um, I got that from Genius, and that the theme. I'm not sure about Bastille Day because it's like a French Revolutionary song. I think I'm going bald in Lakeside Park. Like like if you're getting older, there's a theme, or he's thinking back to his teenage years. So there's maybe there's a light concept going on here. Although I don't know how to tie that into the Necromancer, which is the fourth track. It's 12:29. This is a slow tempo prog giant epic song. This one gets the big check mark. Really, all these songs do, but this is the best song on this album, in my opinion. It's broken into three parts. The first part is Into the Darkness, the second part is Under the Shadow, and the third part is Return of the Prince. And this is about, he's singing about the ring wraith, or the necromancer, which is Sauron. Into the Darkness is 4/4 time. It sounds like a 16-bar intro and a 16-bar verse. And then the most awesome Alex Lifeson guitar solo you'll hear for 16 bars. Alex he's perfect on this album. He plays amazing solos and leads, okay? The second part is Under the Shadow. It's got an introduction and an interlude. I can't count the time signature here, so it's a little bit funky. This is where you're starting to get more prog with the structure and the way these songs are being written. And the verse, same thing. I'm not sure of the time. It's kind of like, it seems to be moving around. I can't count it in the fours. Maybe it's fours. Maybe I'm just counting it wrong. There's an instrumental break, and then there's an awesome guitar solo that's in 4/4 time, and it's 56 bars. It's long and it's amazing. I mean, Alex is really cranking it up here. And then there's a second guitar solo right after that, and that's a faster tempo. And I lost count of the bars right away, but I'm guessing it's about the same amount of bars. But it's just really cruising, okay? It's cool. The third part is Return of the Prince. This is Geddy Lee. He's Prince Bytor, and he destroys the Necromancer. So there's an intro, there's a verse. The verse is like 16 bars plus 16 bars of him singing, plus another 8 bars coming out, and then there's a guitar solo of 50 bars, which is abrupt. It ends in a quick fade out. It's 50 bars I counted. It's the best song on the album. All these songs get the check mark. So this is an end-to-end good album, but that one is the best one. That one gets the big bold green check mark. The Fountain of Lamneth is the last song. It's 19 minutes and 58 seconds. The first, it's broken up into 6 tracks, so I'll quickly talk about them. This is the next best song on the album. The first one is In the Valley. It's got a intro, verse, chorus for 4 minutes and 13 seconds. It's like a light acoustic introduction with Geddy, and he's got really precise singing going on. He's not doing a screaming thing. And then it picks up with the bum 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 da 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 da. You guys know it. It's at the 2-minute mark. Then it goes into Didax and Narpitz. I'm not sure how to say that. That's the second part. It's like a minute long. And this is the drum solo. It's Neil's, I call it Neil, it's his wipeout. It sounds like he's doing that thing. And then Geddy's shouting out, "Stay, go." It's kind of weird. It's hard to make out what he's actually saying. I had to look it up. And that's where the music becomes really intense and powerful in this song. The third part starts at about 5 minutes. It's No One at the Bridge for 4 minutes and 18 seconds. It's 2 verses and a bridge, and then a break and an outro into the next part. The music here is, whenever I hear it, I think of the song Zombie Eaters by Faith No More, The Real Thing. If you don't know what I mean, go dial it up on Spotify or something. Listen to the Zombie Eaters. It's got that arpeggiated guitar. It just feels like it's the same. And the lyrics, think like a sailor, like sailors on the bridge, like on Star Trek or in space, it's like real nautical. It's got a bunch of nautical references or naval references. And there's a maelstrom at the end, but nobody cares about the maelstrom coming. And then that leads into Panacea. It's 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus. This goes back to like a lighter session of Geddy singing with an acoustic guitar. And he's singing along with the notes on the guitar. And it's pretty good. And then that goes to the 5th section, Bacchus Plateau, for 3 minutes. Also, it's the same, 3 minutes and 14 seconds. And this is a happy, fast tempo riff. Maybe the happiest part of the album. And at the end, there's an excellent solo by Alex. It's a cool part of the song, and it's pretty simple structure. The verse, chorus, with it's a cute guitar solo at the end. I like it quite a bit. And then that goes into The Fountain, which is part 6. And that's the end of the song, The Fountain. For 3 minutes and 50 seconds, there's a verse, Rigetti singing with the interlude, and the verse, and an interlude, and a guitar solo, and an outro, and that's how the song ends. And it's sort of pulling in other parts of the song back into the ending. Okay, awesome song. It gets a check mark too. The whole album, all these songs get the check mark. They're all good. This is the coolest album from Rush yet. And it's the 3rd album, and it's 1975. Neil Peart, being the drummer, he's yielding huge dividends for the band. You know, he's writing better songs and better stories and better lyrics. A case in point, the Fountain of Lambeth is about a man, the beginning to the end of his life, and he's searching for something. I guess it's sort of like a light concept album. 2 of the 5 tracks are the prog tracks, or that's 40% if you're counting. But if you go by minutes, that's 32 out of 45 minutes, so that's 71% of the album. This is a prog album, mainly. Progarchives.com gives it a 3.55 rating. I think that's low. I'll give it a 4.5 for Coach Plow Guy rating. It's not. This is not an essential prog album like Red or Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd or King Crimson, but it's close. This is definitely one of the better Rush albums, and as we go along, it's better. It's better than the first 2. So in order, this is the best, and then Fly By Night, and then the debut. And by the way, the first review I saw on progarchives.com had the word sloppy in it. Well, I say fuck that. This is precise. This is not sloppy. This is powerful and precise, and it's a great performance. If you're into prog rock or rock and roll like me, then this album's for you. I'll wrap it up here. Went a couple minutes longer than I want. Coach Plow Guy out. Like and subscribe. And comments, please. You know, what do you want to hear next? Or what did you like about this review? Or would you disagree? Thanks, everyone.